anchors of Queer News Tonight. And this evening, we discuss the queer headlines. Milwaukee principal faces lawsuit for allegedly bullying student with gay parents, locking him in a dark room, and making homophobic remarks.
Cargo ship collision causes bridge collapse in Baltimore. Buttigieg initiated a swift response, but conservatives say his being gay is the cause of collapse. Wait, what?
Unitarian Church in Calgary plans Drag Me to Church event for Easter, protesting anti-LGBTQ+ legislation while celebrating inclusivity.
The 2024 Lexus International Gay Polo Tournament in Wellington celebrates LGBTQ+ unity. The Sport of Kings and the world's largest gay polo tournament will be held from April 4th through 6th.
Amari, 28, wows American Idol judges with her voice and life journey. After a shaky start, her heartfelt perseverance shines.
Good evening, world, and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ+ daily evening television news broadcasting live and then available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news for Wednesday, March 27th, 2024. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ+ evening news show. Whatever happens unique in LGBTQ+ news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ+ community. Our mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our queer culture, the Black community, Latino, lesbian and queer women, trans students and youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ+ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2024, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ+ experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ+ and broader community.
That's right, Dale. So let's meet tonight's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's begin with Bonnie Builder from 1947. Bonnie is the premier South Florida bodybuilding drag queen and the current reigning Mixed Marys. A recent graduate of FIU, she's a trainer and comes to life with a microphone and a spotlight. Bonnie, you're going to be performing at Miami Beach Pride at the community stage on April 13th. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, so we have Miami Beach Pride, we have Capital One, we have April 13th, it'll be on Ocean Drive. I will be performing at 6:30 that evening on that Saturday, April 13th. And Capital One is fabulous. It's the second year that they're having me, and I'm so excited to be invited back because I did really good last year. Some would say I was the best.
I love it. Okay, and can you tell us a little bit about this beautiful look of yours, Bonnie? So I don't know, you're giving me I Love Lucy vibes, but she didn't have any black friends. So I'm like,
I wouldn't know. I wasn't born back then.
You're gorgeous.
That's instant indication forever, honey.
Yeah, you're gorgeous and you look amazing. Next up, let's welcome TriniDaddy. This artistic talent is a violinist and a pianist with the Miami City Ballet and is the program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. TriniDaddy, our beloved LGBTQ+ led South Florida Symphony, will present a special concert about the movie Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone at the Broward Center on April 5th and 6th. Tell me what's happening.
Okay, I don't know if how many of you are Harry Potter fans, but if you are, this is an event where they play one of the movies and they take the soundtrack out and they replace it with a live symphony orchestra. And if you've ever paid attention to the soundtrack, it's really epic. And when you watch it all happening at the same time, it's pretty wild. And the audience is kind of like Comic-Con. So everybody comes in their
dressed up,
like Hufflepuff and Slytherin and all that stuff. And as soon as an actor gets on in frame, they're like, "Yes, Harry! Yes, Dumbledore!" All that stuff. So it's really fun and exciting. It's one of the most family friendly, like whether you're as old as this one here or you're as young as like, 5,
as you
6
used to
years
be,
old.
yeah.
Like it's such a great intergenerational event if that's what you're into. So come on out.
Listen, there are so many Harry Potter fans, especially in our community. It's going to be packed. So get your tickets today for
Maybe
sure.
leave the leather versions at home. But.
No, enhance the leather. Enhance the leather. Next up, let's welcome anchor Dino Mosquera. He joined the Miami Gay and Lesbian Film Festival back in the 90s and now serves on the Outshine Film Festival's board of directors. Dino, you're the film program chairman for Outshine Film Festival, and you're getting ready to start your big Miami festival from April 18th to 28th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, we just released the program for this year's festival starting, like you said, April 18. It's in Miami at the Silver Spot Cinema in downtown Miami.
Love it there.
We're opening with a great film, The Turtles. We have a program full of great films all over. We have a Latino film. We have Women's Spotlight. We have Men's Spotlight, Centerpiece, a great closing film. We have parties. We have our second venue. We're going to have the first weekend at the Silver Spot and the second weekend at the Regal in Lincoln Road.
I'm so glad you're back there. We were so worried that was not going to happen because, the Regal was saying that they were going to close down or move away. But
they've been trying to do that for years.
There's such an epic part of Outshine Films, so it just makes a lot of sense. And everybody's represented. So go to outshinefilm.com and find your genre and go see a movie. I go for the parties, but that's just me. Next up, let's welcome my brother from another mother, Dale Stine, a celebrated photographer in the LGBTQ plus community. He's a director of music ministry at the famous Unity on the Bay, and a moderator of Miami Gay List, South Florida's largest LGBTQ plus Facebook group, which can also be found on IG as @QueerListOfficial. Dale, you're the photographer to the South Florida Stars, and you're going to be covering the Miami Beach Pride VIP Beach Affair on world famous South Beach on April 12th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, I love the VIP cocktail party. It's super fun. The last few years, they started doing it on the beach. They used to do it like in a venue inside. But like 3 years ago, I think it was just post-pandemic or something, they started doing it outside on the beach. And it's been really wonderful and fun to be outside and part of the whole experience on the beach.
Yeah.
So this year, Jessica Wilde, our Boricua sister from RuPaul Drag Race, is going to be there as a performer. And legendary, very well-known DJ Robbie Leslie is going to be spinning. And Kimberly Nicole is performing. And it's great. It's always like a homecoming kind of vibe there. You see people you haven't seen in a long time, even if you just saw them like a month ago at some other party. But it feels like a homecoming. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, Miami Beach Pride is going to be incredible. So make sure that you go to some of the events, all the events, but the VIP is the kickoff.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fantastic.
Y'all better be there.
Y'all better be there.
And of course, this is tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She's a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of the FayWhat show on Mondays at 9 a.m. and then on demand. Faye, Lesbian Thespians is an interesting name and organization, and they are hosting a Spring Fling Tea Dance at Hagen Park April 6th. Tell me, what's happening?
Yeah, so I love the Lesbian Thespians, right? I just interviewed Miss Carol Wartenberg, and she was on my show Monday morning, and she is the founder of the Lesbian Thespians. And it's not just for lesbians, all right? Let's just make that clear. They are bringing such incredible programming to South Florida and to Wilton, right? So there's something for everyone. And the Spring Fling is going to benefit their theater group, and it's going to be, like Bonnie said, at the community center at Hagen Park, and it's going to be from 3 to 7 p.m. It is a community, so it's a tea dance, baby, all right, from 2 to 6 p.m. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Get your tickets. It's only like $20, and it's going to be a fun time, April 6th. So Lesbian Thespians, get your tickets, and I will see you there. So we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today. First, this evening, let's queer up students and youth culture. Elementary principal sued for threatening to kill first grader because of gay parents. A principal at Milwaukee Public Schools is facing serious allegations of bullying and harassment towards a first grade student with gay parents. Kasongo Kalambula, who is currently the principal at Bethune Academy, is accused of targeting the student with physical and verbal mistreatment during his time as an assistant principal at Milwaukee French Immersion School, MFIS, between 2018 and 2022. The allegations have led to a federal lawsuit against Kalambula. According to the lawsuit, Kalambula reportedly confined the student in a dark room for over an hour in the spring of 2019, threatening harm if the incident was disclosed. In spring 2021, following bullying by peers due to his parents' sexual orientation, Kalambula allegedly expressed homophobic sentiments, branding gay individuals as evil, destined for damnation and going to hell. Subsequently, when informed of the parents' concerns by a new MFIS principal in September, Kalambula purportedly physically confronted the child in a school hallway and forcefully ushered him into an office. Despite repeated attempts by the student's parents to address the issue with Milwaukee Public Schools, they assert that MPS administration failed to provide supportive services or protective measures. Allegedly facing hostility from staff, the parents eventually transferred their child to a school in a different district. Additionally, the lawsuit contends that at least 3 other LGBTQ+ families withdrew their children from MFIS due to Kalambula's discriminatory behavior. You know, I could just see everybody at the table nodding their head and just complete despair. This is a child. Like, we're constantly talking about bullying and, anti-LGBTQ+ rhetoric, but this is a 4-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old max. And this horrible adult is doing this, That kid is going to have PTSD.
These are scars.
These are scars. These are trauma. This is complex PTSD.
Yeah.
This will affect this poor kid for the rest of his life. And he's not even gay.
And then the terror that the other students must be living in to see that this is what can be done to a child because of his parents.
Because he's different. Because his parents are different.
It's mind-boggling. So they all must just be living in fear. All the students.
Where is the school district? I want to know.
Milwaukee.
I mean, what are the consequences? No, but what are they doing with somebody in their district like this? I mean,
probably promoting him.
Probably right. Probably no. You may
Milwaukee
be right.
is the most liberal. Yeah.
I mean, the cruelty, the poor. I mean, and the rest of the class.
Cruelty, right there. You put that kid in a closet for an hour and a half in the dark. Like, that's abuse.
Yeah, this goes far beyond just like a disciplinary action within the school. This is a criminal action.
You're right.
Yeah.
To confine a child in there, that's torture.
Well, and then to tell them, and then to tell them, don't tell anybody.
Hey,
and then they call us groomers, right? Then they call us groomers.
Right.
Acting like the fucking principal from Matilda. Kalambula, I just want to say you can go fuck yourself. And I mean that like from the deepest pit of my ball sack. Like, the fact that you took this child innocently and tortured them and want to like condemn the child, the parents, all the queer people in the environment, despite how you were raised, despite where you're from. You're in America and we got a host of issues, but like, we're not doing that shit to our fucking children, or at least we shouldn't be. So this should not be the precedent of how a principal treats their students. So I hope he gets reprimanded, and
I hope he serves jail time.
Jail time. He touched that fucking child.
Yeah.
No. I mean, and again, permanently scarred that poor child.
Yes.
You can't, how do you come back from that, And like you said, and the other kids.
And the whole family unit. I mean, they're all traumatized. And there are multiple children being removed from the school because of this environment.
And it's sad because when we do these stories, my first thought is, parent, just get your kid out of that damn school, right? But that's not fair. And that's not also sometimes just not easy.
And if he's doing it to him, he's going to do it to other parents.
Where are the moms for liberty, whatever these women that are looking for books to ban? Where are they?
Those 5 ladies are very busy.
You should be protecting these children. I mean, this is your responsibility.
Right.
Where are you that you are more concerned about?
Gay, they don't care.
Right, they don't care, so they're disposable.
So sad.
Next, let's queer up the USA View. Conservatives say Baltimore bridge collapsed because Pete Buttigieg is gay. Early Tuesday morning, a cargo ship collided with the Francis Scott Key Bridge in Baltimore, Maryland, causing a section to collapse. The cause was attributed to a power issue on board. One video captured the ship striking a bridge column, leading to its dramatic collapse. Rescue efforts ensued as workers repairing potholes and vehicles were affected. The U.S. Coast Guard and local emergency responders reported 2 survivors and 6 missing individuals, all now presumed dead. Governor Wes Moore of Maryland disclosed that Buttigieg reached out to him at 3 a.m. on Tuesday, highlighting the swift federal response to the incident. President Biden, speaking from the White House, pledged extensive federal assistance for recovery and reconstruction efforts, emphasizing the Port of Baltimore's vital economic importance and the challenges ahead in rebuilding essential infrastructure. Buttigieg echoed the president's commitment and acknowledged the arduous path to recovery. Despite these efforts, some sought to exploit the incident for political gain. One conservative X account named U.S. Ministry of Truth posted, quote, Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg to address Baltimore bridge collapse as soon as he's done chest feeding, unquote. A sort of anti-gay joke conservatives like to crack. George Santos also jumped on the bandwagon, attributing the bridge collapse to Buttigieg's discussion of racism in 2021. Social media is active with anti-LGBTQ plus comments about the gay Secretary of Transportation and actions on the bridge collapse. First, want to put it out there that there's absolutely no merit to this story. Sometimes there are stories that have grains of truth. Pete Buttigieg did not address this bridge collapse and say anything about this bridge being racist, anything woke. All he did was pledge his support and corroborate the president's support of rebuilding the bridge. So there is nothing to the effect of wokeness with his response to that bridge. What they're referring to is some of his comments in the past when he was talking about how bridges historically at times were designed in ways, in part, to keep out certain demographics from certain areas. That's the only thing that he had mentioned.
And that's
about
fact. That's not something that he made up either.
Exactly. And these are comments from, many years ago when we were talking about these subjects more with the Black Lives Matter movement. So you have somebody like, this is clearly just a potshot, an anti-LGBTQ plus potshot. And somebody like George Santos, who is gay, decides, I'm just going to make fun of him
on the bandwagon
for being gay and making chest-feeding remarks and all of this stuff.
Disgusting.
I mean, when you think that they can't sink any lower, and you have just this week, I know it's not the topic, but you've got the Republican nominee, presidential nominee, coming out with a Bible that only he endorses, and you have these people in Congress that are just saying blatant anti-LGBT comments that have nothing to do with what's going on, instead of expressing the absolute tragedy of what happened.
Yeah.
It takes so much away from the people who have really suffered and will suffer as a result. I mean, the victims, the people who have died. I mean, it completely takes away from the truth of what's going on. However, in a positive note about this, I've been watching, of course, because I'm a kind of a news junkie, and of course, let me just say it now, here and now, I cannot wait for Pete Buttigieg to be our president.
Aww.
Oh my gosh. He's so presidential. He's been on the news like nonstop, of course, because he's doing all these press conferences, and he's so well spoken. He so knows what he's talking about and what the intention is, and he's so clear, and he has such empathy and compassion. I think it's just fantastic. It's a bright light in a very, very dark story.
No, the whole scenario is super sad. I mean, when we all woke up to this, it was like, oh my God, those poor people. How many people were on the bridge? Blah blah blah.
Thankfully, not many.
And thank goodness, because it was like 3 a.m. or something. But when I first heard this story that we're talking about today, I thought about all the national casualties and things that have happened in the world that, in some way, shape, or form, is always blamed on us. Right? 9/11, Katrina, all these horrible things.
Even when it happens in red states.
It's still our fault, right? Because we have that much power over the universe. I mean, come on, the chest feeding comment really pisses me off, right? Because if you were to tell a woman that, like, you would get so much backlash for it, and that's just not right? There are 2 parents taking care of their newborn kids, right? I mean, that's just disgusting to say that. George Santos, shut the F up. Like, I just don't want you to tag anything, okay?
Go
just
away.
Stop talking. Go away. Disappear. Go to some other country where it's just too much, Pete Buttigieg shows up. He suits up and shows up, right? As soon as he was told about this, he was there, right? Unlike our governor here at Florida, that we have Surfside happen, we have hurricanes happen, we have all kinds of shit happening here, and DeSantis is way too busy.
Book tour.
I'm selling my book. I'm on a book tour. I'm too busy. These are the people that we look up to. Really? I'm blown away.
But this is open season for this childish mockery. And this is what happened when we have somebody like Donald Trump running for president.
Yeah.
Somebody that just very juvenile, the way that he picks a mock name for everybody that he doesn't like, and he goes publicly and he makes
like a bully.
Like a bully. It doesn't matter if it's a man, if it's a woman, if it's a child, or a disabled person.
At all.
He goes out and mock them publicly and humiliate them. That's what happened with this guy, U.S. Ministry of Truth, whatever that is. How sad that this is the current state of our politics, that in the middle of a tragedy that strikes a community, a vital community, somebody goes publicly to mock, the transportation secretary.
Yeah.
Why don't you apologize? Why don't you show empathy for the six
Show
people
support.
that are missing
And their families.
instead of being mocking, the Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
My only hope from this, and I think this is happening, is that even people who are homophobic are looking at this and saying, all right, this even crosses a line for me. Like, this is just, even if I agree with you, this just feels wrong.
Right? But they're still going to hell, but they weren't the reason. Right?
Exactly. And that's my only hope for this coming election.
This is
so crazy.
They've said worse shit a million times over way back in the day, and people still not getting it. So I don't know if that's going to happen.
This is classic Pat Robertson and Graham and
that other,
right, and those, the televangelist is classic. Why don't we blame COVID on Donald Trump? We should, why don't we blame it on him? Why is it have to always be the gay community?
A lot of people died because of him, so we could.
So we could just, blame him on that, but we don't go that low.
His base doesn't even think COVID's real anymore. It's like, it's a
Bonnie, what's
they're a lost cause.
Let's get positive. Next, let's quote religion.
Yeah.
This church will hold Easter drag service to stand up to anti-LGBTQ plus bills. To show support for Calgary's LGBTQ plus community, a Unitarian church will host a drag show during its Easter Sunday service. The Drag Me to Church event aligns with both Easter and the International Trans Day of Visibility, honoring the contributions of trans individuals while highlighting ongoing challenges. Additionally, the service will serve as a protest against proposed legislation in Alberta, Canada, endangering the rights of transgender youth. This inclusive initiative aims to promote acceptance, celebrate diversity, and advocate for equality within the community and beyond. Reverend Samaya Oakley of the Calgary Unitarians emphasized inclusivity while talking to the Edmonton Journal. She said, quote, "The presence of individuals within the 2SLGBTQIA+ spectrum is undeniable in every community," end quote. Amidst proposed legislation by Alberta's Conservative government, concerns arise regarding LGBTQ+ rights. The measures aim to restrict gender-affirming healthcare for minors and limit transgender student participation in sports. Additionally, parental consent will be required for name, pronoun changes, and sex education classes. Oakley's remarks underscore the importance of extending love and acceptance to all individuals, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity, in the face of legislative challenges to LGBTQ+ rights in Alberta. As a drag queen reporting the story, can I be the first to say, for Easter, drag me to church, baby. Now, let me educate you really quickly. So I did have to say, what was it, 2SLGBTQIA+. The 2S stands for Two-Spirit, which is a common nomenclature in Canada that they use to contribute to the naming of their queer community. So we start with LGBTQ. They include the 2S, which is Two-Spirit, which is an indigenous reference. So with the story, I think it is incredible. I love when religious people get petty for the right reasons. There is no reason that we can't celebrate Trans Day of Inclusivity and Easter on the same day. There are some religious trans people who believe in the resurrection of Christ. I'm still on the fence about it. Don't tell my mom. But I think this is a great way to celebrate both. You get to celebrate the community that traditionally wants to do Easter. You get the traditional crowd and you get the queer crowd, and you bring them together, and it's just like fabulous time, and I love it.
Yeah. Well, me and Dale both go to the same church. We go to Unity on the Bay, which is a very progressive church. It's not a gay church. It's not a queer church. It's just, when you grew up and you went to church and they always had that sign that said all are welcome, but it was actually bullshit, right? Because it was just all are welcome, but now you, or you, right?
But this really is.
Unity is that way. And that was why I was drawn to it 20 years ago, because you could see a drag queen that just worked all night and just came into first service with a 5 o'clock shadow, like, hey, I got to be here for the Lord, right? So, and Miami Beach Pride, we had Auntie Mame.
And we're one of the sponsors. We sponsored Pride last year and this year.
Well, and we had Auntie Mame, a drag queen, on our float, and that was always like initiative. We've got to make sure to have everybody represented on our float, right? But there's always religious fanatics that are always going to have an issue with that kind of stuff, So it takes like a community like Unity on the Bay or this church to say, F you, I'm still going to do this. I'm still going to support the communities that we love and we represent, and we're still going to do Easter big. Why not have an Easter egg hunt? Why not do all the wonderful fun things that you do on Easter and also celebrate Trans Day of Visibility?
Yeah.
You see, when we think of the U.S., the only country, particularly in the first world and in North America, that fights this kind of fights, and Canada, which is to many of us is a beacon of progressive, and that's not always occurred that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Canadians have to also deal with the right wing and the extremists.
Canada's huge too.
Yeah, and look, Alberta is going through this, and even though they have the fantastic, good-looking on top of that prime minister, and very liberal, he's adorable. Yeah.
Yeah, but the backlash of the right wing is happening all over.
Right, but it's happening,
Well, okay,
and they're fighting it.
I definitely want to know what Trini feels about this because he was raised evangelical, right? So he's kind of still brainwashed about the shit, right? So it's always good to hear what he says because he's still learning as he goes. He's still on his journey.
Okay, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Faye.
I know that you flinched when I said Easter and and TDOV together. You flinched. So
Yes, I did. And it's not for the reason that you think.
Okay.
Like I actually am very enlightened when it comes to what is said in the Bible and how people can look at it, like a church like Sunshine Cathedral can look at it and say, we can be inclusive of gay people and it can mean this, whatever. My journey away from church was that after doing all the research I could do for 10 years, I felt that this was not real and I didn't feel that it was an inclusive thing, and to try to make it into something that it was not.
You didn't feel what was inclusive? The Bible?
That the Bible is inclusive of gay people and what we kind of call gay and gay culture now. I don't think that it is. I don't think that it should be believed as literal.
But
I don't believe
the
in
Bible
any of
is
that stuff.
just a reference. It's just a reference.
Well, and the Bible
Right.
has been translated 528,000 times, and they exclude mention of LGBTQ on purpose.
Sure, but the point I'm kind of trying to make is that for people who do have a more traditional feel of that are gay, part of the LGBTQ plus community, right? I don't know how I feel about a drag show and entertainment kind of thing going on a sacred holiday, if that is what is sacred to you.
So you would be against the Easter egg hunt?
I also think that...
No, I'm just...
No, I mean, I'm get to that, but also conflating like the drag thing with transgender, which is for me two very different things. And to like have a drag show, it's like they can have a cross section, but at its face they're not the same.
Separate things,
two
completely
separate things.
Yeah.
And so on a day that is supposed to be kind of the highest holiday, if you believe in that, I could tell you if I did believe in that, that would be a little bit too much of an entertainment like thing for me to buy into. But I would love if we took away that entertainment drag show element of it and put in something that was more about trans people and like the love of Christ for that, and make it a bit more of a serious kind of thing. I would be into that.
Let me take this. Because I'm gonna save these bookings for my drag sisters. First of all, church can be a spectacle a lot of the time. I grew up in the church, and a lot of time it's showmanship. It's coming up in your best church lady drag or your best pastor drag, going up in front of the congregation and putting on a performance, right? So the drag performer can do the exact same thing for the exact same message. If they are performing for the sake of Christ, there are a lot of drag queens who believe in Christ, the Lord, and the Bible. They should not have their opportunity taken away because people feel like it's not serious. It's serious to them. This is their art form. This is how they choose to celebrate the Lord on that day. So I think this is an appropriate occasion for them to do that.
And I respectfully disagree.
But it's a protest, so...
That's right. Everybody has the right to a wrong opinion.
That's right. All right. Yeah. Next, let's square up sports. Polo League brings all the gays to world's biggest LGBTQ plus polo tournament. When Chip McKinney relocated to Los Angeles 20 years ago, he struggled to find his place. But a polo lesson at Santa Barbara Polo Club changed everything. Now, as a head of the Gay Polo League, he organizes the world-only LGBTQ plus polo organization. Their annual tournament in Wellington, Florida, attracts players from Argentina to London and is held in the shadow of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago in Palm Beach County. McKinney believes polo inclusivity stems from its international nature and team's dynamics. In the polo world, identity takes backseat to camaraderie and skill. The 2024 Lexus International Gay Polo Tournament, presented by Douglas Elliman Real Estate, kicks off April 4th through 6th. On Thursday, April 4th, the event's begins with a VIP sponsors reception by invitation. Friday, April 5th, features the Polo Teeny Charity Party benefiting Elton John AIDS Foundation. A portion of ticket sales aids the foundation's global AIDS fight. On Saturday, April 6th, the GPL tournament finals will showcase LGBTQ plus polo players from around the globe. 4 teams vie for 2 GPL perpetual trophies, the Senators Cup and the Founders Cup, held at the prestigious Patagon's Polo Club. Ticket starts at $50, and this is truly the sport of kings. I mean, somebody invited me to go. I'm considering going. I know, right? Who would have thought? But, polo is something that is, not very popular, even among straight people, even in this country. In Latin America, believe it or not, is popular in some countries, particularly Argentina and Uruguay.
Because there's horses running around everywhere, so you just jump on one and get a stick and start playing polo. No?
Right, it's true, yeah, but it's always very upper class, right?
Yeah.
It ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap. It's not a cheap sport, but Argentina has very famous, in particular one that I love.
Polo player.
Nacho Figueres.
Of course you know his name.
If you're listening to me, Nacho, we love you.
Nacho Libre.
Nacho Libre. Nacho Figueres, who was the face of Ralph Lauren campaign.
He was also the ass of
He's gorgeous. He's straight, very good looking, very pretty guy. But I guess that, I will go if he's there.
Listen. Like Dale said, polo sounds to me like a very expensive sport to play, right? And and it's in Wellington.
Right.
Foo. All right. And so, I think very country clubby, so if I'm being invited, I'm going to go, right? Because that +1 ticket costs a lot of money. And gay boys, if you're looking for your next husband, boyfriend, or side piece,
that's a good.
This is where you need to go because these guys are fit. They make money. It's a wonderful location. Everybody dresses up, right? You're kind of like Kentucky Derby kind of esque, like, and it's a foo time for sure. So if you could slip in and try to blend, I'll try my best, right? And I'll try to find you a boyfriend.
The closest I get to that, it's like Marco Polo.
That is close
You're
to
so
Marijuana,
gay.
too.
Honey, do you think you could go to a high-class event and pass yourself off as rich?
Well, clearly. And I love watching and ride, so I would gladly go with my husband because we love making friends. So I guess I will see you guys there, assuming you can afford it.
All right. Anybody ever play polo here at the table? Anybody?
None of us.
There are no horses in the hood.
Look around.
Get on top of somebody and be like, ride them around. Get a baseball.
You meant that? Yes, I have.
That was last Tuesday after the gathering for you.
You said horseback, not bareback. Go on.
Oh, wow.
Dale, ¿qué más?
Next. Speaking of, next let's queer up entertainment. Trans singer's heart-crushing moment at American Idol moves, well, everyone for Trans Day of Visibility. Be it entertainment, music, literature, politics, or sports, the LGBTQ plus community is leaving its mark on every sector. Transgender singers like Shay Diamond and Laura Jane Grace are already popular for winning music lovers' hearts. Now, adding to the list is Amari, a 28-year-old waitress from Indiana. Amari captivated the American Idol judges with her heartfelt performance of Sarah Bareilles' She Used to Be Mine. Though judges liked it, Amari was given another opportunity to showcase her versatility, where Judge Katy Perry encouraged Amari to reveal more of her true self through another song. That is when Amari shared her moving backstory of resilience and self-discovery. She bravely talked about her story of acceptance and overcoming adversity. Despite facing challenges and losing loved ones during her transition, Amari decided to move on. Her courage and talent shone through her performance when she sang an emotional song from Bareilles' musical, Waitress. This performance earned her a standing ovation from Katy Perry. While Brian offered constructive criticism, Perry and Richie enthusiastically supported Amari's journey and talent, giving her a resounding yes. Amari's inspiring audition is a reminder of the power of authenticity and the importance of visibility for transgender individuals, especially as we celebrate Trans Day of Visibility on March 31st. This is a really feel-good story in a moment in time when there are not many good feel-good stories for our trans siblings. And the performance was very moving. If you've watched it, it's very moving. And Katy Perry crying was everything. I really just loved it. And I think it's just one of those moments that you feel really special about. And I'm very happy for her and that she's going on to Hollywood. It's super exciting. And it is a very brave moment that she shared so openly her heart. It was very heartfelt.
I was watching, and it didn't happen at first. Just so you know, she performed
She
and
sang
then
a different song first.
basically,
Like
right?
Toxic. She did Britney Spears' "Toxic."
Correct.
Why would she pick that
wild
song?
And then Katy Perry said,
No,
that's
but
good,
right,
yeah,
but I guess they kind of like sensed that there was a backstory, and then
By
they
the
asked
producer.
her
Right,
more. Right.
yeah, by the in-ear.
They got handed it.
Right,
Yeah.
and then they asked her to sing something that will be more reflected of her. And
Yeah.
that's when
And she's a
So many-
waitress.
so many
So
more
she sang the
persons.
song
and that's
of
when
waitress.
she said,
More
that's when she started
Listen.
her story, and that was so like I was like crying, and then they show her boyfriend.
The boyfriend, yeah.
Her boyfriend was outside waiting for her, and she sang, and when she sang that second song, that was everything.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. Look, I got to tell you that I haven't watched American Idol for a very long time because of all those setups, right? Every effing person that gets closer to Hollywood has a dead mother, a dead father. They went through cancer. Their dog died yesterday. Everybody. And then that ominous music comes up, and you know the sad
Right.
story coming, right? So I got tired of that shit, and that's why I stopped watching American
jaded.
Idol. I did because I was just like, how much, like it's just, it was,
Absolutely.
and
I don't watch the show, but I just watch this clip.
It's
I
so
do
put
watch this clip,
together,
yeah.
Dale. It's
so
so
produced.
scripted. It's so
produced.
set up. Like, you can't have a talent without a sad backstory. You better kill somebody off because they're not going to take you to Hollywood unless you're missing a foot or something's going on, because it's just they're in season 843. It's over. Paula's dead. I mean, it's just so much at this point.
Yeah,
but for this story, when I heard about it, I did watch the
watch it,
clip.
yeah.
I
That's what
had
I did,
to.
yeah, that's
and
what
it
I
was
did.
moving. I honestly believe that they told her, all right, sing some bad song. Sing Toxic.
Right.
Go.
Really?
Such a
And then,
weird
Katie, please, are you pregnant? Okay, so you're going through hormones? Okay, tell them that you want to hear another song. And that's what happened, and welcome to Hollywood, okay? But we support you, mama, okay? And she's adorable also. She is such a pretty girl.
She is.
What do you have to say now?
I have to.
I'm ready for
No,
Trini.
I like there. You have never taken the words out of my mouth
De
more than
verdad.
just now.
We've never agreed
Like,
on anything.
Sometimes we do, but like it's hard for me to look at things. I'm
can't
glad
watch
that
it. I
there are
can't
more.
watch it.
No, I'm glad that there are more trans.
Right.
The visibility is there.
Representation,
So I'm
sure.
like, thank you, American Idol, for putting that out there. But when I just look at it, I just hear the producer in the ear, and I did
Yeah,
do
yeah.
part of this
Literally.
American Idol thing before, and it's just like, okay, all right, that girl is a trans, or she's whatever.
Trans
like
woman, yes.
let's pull out the story. Let's get it. We need tears. We need
Tears,
tears,
right,
people.
right.
Ominous music. Ominous music.
Exactly. So it's hard for me to like have that feel good moment in the way that you do. But
but
I think there are some genuine moments within it. I mean, once they,
Yeah.
I haven't watched American Idol in years, mainly because I get annoyed. because
You're a singer, honey.
no,
You're
I get
trained
but I get
to
annoyed
work.
because we didn't have that when I was young, and so it pisses me off that I didn't have that. Those
You can
those
do it
options.
now.
No, bitch. And- so, I mean, I have to come up with some of my stories. Oh, I was abused. Maybe I can work that angle.
I'm
I get on
just
it.
saying.
Yeah.
But they pick that story. If they pick that story about trans inclusivity, kudos for them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something
At least
that
There's
is
not-
600 people that went across
Right.
the stage
It's
that
a
day.
huge
You know what I
juxtaposition
mean? Like,
compared to back in the day where you had to hide your trans
Right.
identity in order to make it far.
Yeah.
She was able to use her story, her trans identity, to make it further. So, like, girl, use it for what it's worth.
So,
Be your
yeah.
true self, love yourself,
Looking
but
at
like,
the
girl, you
positive
better
of it.
use it as best you can.
yep.
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from our permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at the Happening Out Television Studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
We finish tonight's Queer News headlines with a segment we call LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News, let's queer up trans rights. UFC fighter Julian Erosa whips out his manhood in crazy anti-challenge to Leah Thomas. UFC fighter Julian Erosa's victory took an unexpected turn when he used his post-fight press conference to call out trans female swimmer Leah Thomas. After his win at UFC Fight Night, Erosa bizarrely challenged Thomas to transition into women's MMA, claiming he would transition into a woman to fight her. Despite Erosa's confusing remarks, Thomas, currently focused on law school, has not commented on the invitation to meet in some back alley. However, we think it would be fun to witness Erosa going through the hormone therapy necessary to transition. Erosa's remarks have sparked controversy, shedding light on the need for greater understanding and respect for transgender individuals in sports.
I was going to say that I don't like cheaters. And so, and I don't know how you guys feel about this whole situation, but I don't like cheaters, and so I wanted to call out Leah Thomas. I wanted to encourage her to encourage him to transition from women's swimming into women's MMA, and then I'll transition to become a woman, and I'm gonna beat that dude's ass. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to say, because it's all about getting a little bit of shock value. But I mean, the world that we're living in is just, there's no common sense anymore, and it's becoming a bit, ridiculous. And, obviously that's one of the big things that's always been in, it's kind of going on now. And I just don't agree with men, in women's sports, even the whole Fallon Fox thing, knocking, and the girls or guys that are fighting in women's MMA and knocking them out. It's like, it's a bad look.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up sports. In Mexico, soccer match suspended after anti-gay chants against U.S. player Matt Turner. A football match between the U.S. and Mexico was interrupted twice due to anti-gay chants directed at U.S. goalkeeper Matt Turner. The referee halted play during the nation's league clash after fans hurled homophobic slurs at Turner. Despite repeated calls to cease the offensive chants, they persisted, prompting the referee to suspend the game for almost 5 minutes. This interruption occurred just before full time, with the U.S. eventually emerging victorious. Turner, who also plays for Nottingham Forest in the Premier League and is married to Ashley Herron, also faced derogatory chants during the match held in Texas.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. April art exhibition Hotspots Happening Out Art Gallery welcomes diverse artists April 6th. Here's an opportunity to connect with fellow art lovers and enjoy the work of talented artists at the Hotspots Happening Out Art Gallery with Dale Stine. The opening reception of the April exhibit is on Saturday, April 6th, starting at 6 p.m. Featured artists include Joe Baxter, Giancarlo Baliciano, Eileen Shalom, Ted Davis, Renee Farias Amores, Francisco Shout, Adrienne Walker, and Susan David. Further details on the gallery and other interesting events are available in Hotspots Magazine's new issue, which will be out this Thursday.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up politics. The 8 old white men who run 1 million moms rail over commercial where all the men wear pink. Far-right group 1 million moms target Hilton hotels in their latest campaign, accusing the hotel chain of promoting the LGBTQ plus lifestyle. The group takes issue with a commercial featuring Paris Hilton's and others clad in pink. The group said, quote, "The hotel chain is obviously pushing the LGBTQ plus agenda with this commercial, which depicts individuals, couples, and families all in obviously gender-confused roles." End of quote. Hilton, known for its inclusivity, scored 100 on the HRC Corporate Equality Index. Despite the ad airing months ago, the group is urging followers to now protest. But Hilton's commitment to diversity remains unwavering.
Hilton honors slays.
Obsessed. Points for a free stay? Yes, please.
Upgrade.
Loves it.
All these perks. We're sliving.
Totally sliving. Can I say that right?
Yeah.
When you want the celebrity treatment, no matter who you are, it matters where you stay.
That's hot.
Totally.
Hilton honors. Hilton for the stay.
LGBTQ plus 1 Minute News. Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Lesbian Thespians present Perfect Arrangement by Topher Payne at Sunshine on April 7th. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts promises an evening of laughter and drama with perfect arrangement by Topher Payne on April 7th. Set in the 1950s during the Red Scare, two State Department employees, Bob and Norma, are responsible for finding sexual deviance while hiding their own sexuality. Inspired by true events, the play explores the early days of the American gay rights movement with classic sitcom-style humor and thought-provoking drama. Presented by lesbian thespians, the event features free parking, beer, wine, and snacks. Tickets start from $25. Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts is America's leading LGBTQ+ live entertainment series. For further information, visit sunshinecathedral.org. That is today's news for the LGBTQ+ community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ+ evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this live LGBTQ+ news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and Amazon Fire TV, possibly getting a bonus look at Bonnie's completely unfinished bottom half, as per usual, of her drag outfit? We welcome you.
Baby, my bottom's always finished. Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ+ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells this type of LGBTQ+ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I think that Trini and Bonnie need to go get a room. That's what I think.
A jail cell.
Listen, whatever works. I'm your anchor, FayWhat? And on behalf of these LGBTQ+ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Bonnie Builder, TriniDaddy, Dino Mosquera, and Dale Stine. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. And to our LGBTQ+ world, we wish you good night.